to the Palestinian issue.
Sure.
Very quickly on the visa waiver, there's still a great deal of confusion because people tried to cross the Eretz crossing and they were turned back. So we know that the statutory requirement on reciprocity says all Americans should be treated equally and so on. But in this case, and I heard what Matt said yesterday in his response to a question that was raised,
Yeah.
that you understand or you see that Israel has certain concerns, security concerns with Gaza. So in this, if you factor this in, then reciprocity is not a full thing extended to all Americans, is it?
So, Said, again, what I'll reiterate is that that is 100% our expectation. You've heard me and Matt and be very clear about this. Is that our expectation is that any American citizen is treated equally in any attempts to transit to and through the region. I will note, though, Said, to your question, that we continue and we will analyze data that Israel has committed to provide. And I'll also note that the embassy has established a portal accessible via U.S. Embassy Israel's website where U.S. citizens may report any travel difficulties. And it is important for us to receive that feedback, to collect that data, and to analyze it so that come the deadline, the Secretary and this department can make the most appropriate recommendation to the Department of Homeland Security. This is still an ongoing process, Saeed, and we'll continue to assess and work directly with the Israeli government towards fulfilling our very clear requirements for entry into the visa waiver program.
Okay, so if I understand you correctly, you're saying that you will have some sort of a yardstick by which to measure when and where Israel has real legitimate security concern, or where it may be abusing that.
Said, those yardsticks exist. There are very clear requirements and prerequisites as it relates to the visa waiver program for any country that is intending to be part of that program.
Let me ask you on the judicial reforms, if I may. Now, the president said yesterday, or the White House said that they were disappointed or they regret the passage of the reforms. But now that this, the ship has sailed, so what's next? What will the United States do? And can we expect, sort of any hiccups and special relationships with Israel? Does that in any way impact the thinking or the stuff that is ongoing? There's been calls, for instance, by former ambassadors to basically cut off military aid to Israel and so on. So, what is your response to all these things?
Well, what I will say on that is not going to happen. But what I can say is that our decades, there's not going to be any cut or stoppage of military aid, and that is because our commitment to Israel and our commitment to Israel's security is ironclad. Our decades-long partnership with Israel is ironclad. And the president, and you saw the White House be very clear about this over the past couple of days, has expressed his views in this scenario that major changes in a democracy need to be enduring. They need to have as broad consensus as possible. We also understand that talks are ongoing and likely to continue over the coming weeks and months to forge a broader compromise, and we will continue to support efforts of Israeli leaders as they continue to work to seek a broader consensus and create a consensus through political dialogue. We also will continue to engage with our Israeli counterparts and Israeli officials to strengthen the bond between the United States and Israel and to advance our shared democratic values, cooperating on a full range of issues while working through our differences and concerns, like our most relationships where we have bilateral relations with the countryside.
So you expect these negotiations in the coming weeks to yield any sort of pullback by the government in saying, we were wrong, let's not Let's not implement.
Said,
judicial reforms
it's
until-
not for me to preview or hypothesize or speculate from up here. What I'm simply saying is a matter of fact, which is that we understand that talks continue to be ongoing, likely over the coming weeks and months, as internally within Israel this process moves forward to continue to broader a compromise.
Okay, but I tell you what, because I'm sorry, I just want to talk about this issue for a bit further, because these judicial reforms, they impact lives on daily basis. People that go in, and then the Ministry of Defense decides that this
We
person
agree with you,
cannot,
Said.
cannot enter and so on. Then the Supreme Court says no.
No,
this is-
no.
If you allow
Matt.
me, because that's what they mean by the unreasonableness. This is unreasonable.
No one
they
is
have done that
disputing
many
that-
times again. No, we could see probably now a multitude.
Said, no
of
one is
efforts and so on
disputing
by the
that.
Israeli government in the occupied territories on Palestinians who hold Israeli citizenship and so on. I mean, this is really very
Sorry,
critical
to your
issue.
point that this is affects everyday people. No, we agree with that point. That is exactly why this is something that the Secretary, the President, and others have been deeply engaged on, and incredibly clear that it's our viewpoint that such changes in democracy, where the expectation is that they are going to be enduring, must have as broad of a consensus as possible.